Hi there, my name is Hugo Moreno and I'm a teaching artist with the American Composers Orchestra. Welcome! In this video we're going to talk about the music of a wonderful living American composer and explore how composers and performers work together to bring a new piece of music to life. Be sure to check out all the ways the American Composers Orchestra helps composers bring their music to life at www.americancomposers.org, including our new initiative to play music that pairs great living American composers with solo performers called Connecting ACO Community. Premieres of these works will take place on a regular basis on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, so check americancomposers.org for more details. In this video, we're going to work on a piece written by my friend Eric Nathan. I've known Eric for almost 20 years, since we went to school together at Yale University. Eric is a great guy, a great trumpet player, and a great composer. Those are three qualities in a person that really make for a good collaboration between composer and performer. A great composer creates beautiful music and has a big imagination. Because Eric is a great trumpet player, he also understands what the beautiful and difficult things are that a trumpet can do. And by being a great person and human being, it only makes working with Eric very easy. This is important because as a composer works on writing a piece for you, they're constantly sending you bits and getting the performer's feedback. It's a very close relationship and one where getting along well really matters because the composer and performer work together very closely to help the composer make the piece come out just right. In 2015, Eric wrote a really cool piece for me called Toying for solo trumpet. The word solo comes from the Latin word solos, which means alone. This means that the trumpet will be playing the piece by itself. There's not going to be a piano or guitar or orchestra or drums or anything playing along. It has three parts, and each part tells the story of a different toy. The first movement is called wind up. Imagine what it sounds like to wind up a toy, set it on the floor, and watch it run around over and over until it spins out. That's the first movement. The second movement is Elegy for a Toy Soldier, and it's a memorial song to the fallen. Movement 3 is called Ventriloquism. The trumpet becomes the voices of many characters using mutes and many different effects. We'll talk about mutes a little later. Eric told me that with this piece he wanted to push the limits of what the trumpet can do. When you play toying, you have to do all types of things with your trumpet, such as playing real fast, playing real slow, playing really loud, really soft, really beautiful notes, really ugly ones, high ones, low ones. You even have to unscrew and remove parts of the trumpet. The music is at times beautiful, long melodies. Sometimes it's short, grumpy squawks that sound like the human voice. And sometimes it's extremely fast and crazy sounding phrases. Today, I'm going to show you one of the most beautiful and most difficult sections of toying, and one of my favorites, Elegy for a Toy Soldier, or the second part, or as we say in music, the second movement. In order to play this piece, you have to remove part of the trumpet, and that's a little part called the valve slide. The first valve slide is this one right here. Right? This slide is used to tune the notes that are made when you depress the first valve, this guy. And it works like this. When you take this part off, notes that are made with the first valve sound a bit buzzy, like this. Right? Eric uses both notes that sound buzzy and irregular sounding notes on this movement. My favorite part of the piece, and the part I'm going to show you, is the very beginning. It is very slow. You have to play very softly, and it gets a little high on the trumpet. Those are two difficult things to do. You also have to make it sound as beautiful as you can. Eric told me the other day that this piece is about loss and memory leaving us, about grasping for something you can't quite remember and finally remembering. To me, because of the way this piece is written, with its soft, buzzy, and natural and clear sounds, this meant a beautiful memory. One the likes of which we would see at the end of maybe a sad movie. Now, in order to get the sounds I wanted, I had to make sure that I was comfortable playing the trumpet in whatever state it was in. That is, with or without the first slide. Let's take the opening phrase. I first started practicing it with regular notes and the first valve slide in like this, just to hear the notes and the melody precisely. This is important. At every stage of your practice, think music first. How will the way that you are practicing help the music? After that was in my ear, I removed the valve slide and I practiced it that way. I played around with it too. I improvised some exercises to get facility in my chops. Once I'd done that a little while, I was ready to play the piece. Now, do you think Eric Nathan did a good job of showing what it feels like to experience loss? What did you feel when you heard the music? Was it loss and sadness or something else? That's what's so great about working directly with a composer. We can both bring all of our own experiences to the music and share them with you, the audience. And when we do, those experiences mean so many different other things. Isn't that cool? So in my next video, I'm going to have a surprise for you. Next time around, I'm going to play a completely different piece by Eric Nathan, a trumpet duet. The word duet comes from the Latin dual, which means two, which means that this piece is for 2 trumpets. My friend Wayne Dumaine, who is principal trumpet with the ACO, will be joining me to play a piece called In Memoriam, from a larger piece by Eric Nathan called 4 Sculptures for 2 Trumpets. But you're going to have to tune into our next video to check that out. So let's review what we've discussed today. The relationship between composer and performer are really important. The trumpet is able to play in many different ways, and you need to be able to find approaches to practicing those sounds each on their own in order to make them sound the way you want them to sound when you're performing for an audience. When you're practicing something you're unfamiliar with, take it one step at a time. You're going to want to make it a little bit easier for yourself by making it a little less complicated when you first start practicing. Did you notice how when I started to practice the section with a slide out, I went slowly enough to be able to play it? At first, when I first started learning it, I couldn't make it sound very pretty or play it all the way through, but little by little the improvements came, even when I thought they wouldn't. Sometimes I go to bed after practicing without success, and the next morning it was easier. Learning is an interesting process, isn't it? As you improve, you can start adding more and more details, and you can play them well and feel really good about the way they sound and start putting your own feelings and emotions into the music. I hope you enjoyed this time together. I'd like to thank Kevin James and the American Composers Orchestra for having me make this video. If you have any questions or comments, you can get in touch with us right through our webpage at www.americancomposers.org.